You yawning on me here? We boring you already?
Yep.
Alright, everybody, it's another episode of Getting to Know the Schwantzes. It's the Q&A series with my wife, MsShwantz. How's it going?
Well,
As always. Well as water not from a sewage source. You know, like a well, you drop the bucket.
No, I understand what you're saying, but that was kind of stupid.
The broad that got pushed in the well in the ring. Anyway, so we are answering your questions that you guys leave for us down in the comments section. Now, if you ask us a question like, D'Anthony Fernandez, does Ms. Schwantz hate it or get annoyed when you rage, Mr. Schwantz? Which is a question we've answered numerous times. We probably won't answer it from now on. If you go into the link in the description is a playlist of all of the Q&A videos, so if you are ever bored and have a few hours to kill, that's the place to go listen in. But let's answer the question real fast. Do you hate it or get annoyed when I rage?
Yes and yes.
So the answer is yes and yes. That's why my man cave is on floor 1, and the Ms. Schwantz has her craft cave up on floor 3. However, the power of the Schwantz rage is too much even for 2 floors, so we're going to have to audio-proof this bitch. Next question comes from Xena, not the warrior princess, but it's a question for the both of us. What's the better route in terms of your love life? Changing who you are to get the person you like, or be yourself and wait for the right somebody to come by?
Be yourself, of course.
I say be yourself to an extent. You shouldn't fake things to get what you want, because in the end you're always going to revert back to being yourself and being who you are, because it's easiest to do and it's really hard to keep up a facade for that long. However, if there are certain things or certain bad habits that your partner might not like about you, you could change them slightly in order to make the relationship better. There are things that I do that I know Ms. Schwantz does not like that I try not to do. For instance, play on the video games too often. Moreover, the message is be yourself, right?
Yeah. It's better to be yourself.
Right. It's better to be yourself and be open to doing things that you might not necessarily normally want to do.
Yes. That would be the difference.
That's the good part, but definitely more towards being yourself. LSC97, would you define yourself as being progressive, like being a liberal, but you don't always agree with your own group?
I guess I would identify myself as progressive. I'm registered as an independent, because I like to make up my mind and I thoroughly research both sides.
Although one side is keep making it very hard to keep me interested in it.
Yes.
I do define myself also as being progressive, but there's a lot of things that progressives do that I fucking hate. Like, for example, people that defend Islam to no end, even though they think it might be Islamophobic for people to say, ideas that Islam preaches, like suppressing women and keeping them as second-rate citizens, are bad ideas. Some liberals would come out, or progressives rather, would come out and say, no, you're just being Islamophobic, when really I'm just trying to champion, feminism in that particular case. So there are certain things that I definitely don't agree on. Are there things that you don't agree on within the Progressive Party? Like a lot of social justice warrior things I cannot fucking stand.
Well, I guess I'm not really as, into it as you are. I don't know. There are things that I don't like. I have an opinion. I don't just automatically agree on everything. I guess. I can't think of anything specific, though.
Alright, Stato asks, what do you see yourself doing 10 years from now? That's a pretty long time away, but these are definitely things that we have to plan for, right? So, I mean, for myself, I still see me doing the same job that I do now because I really enjoy it, and I hope they like keeping me around, and it sounds like they do. So, I still see myself doing computer programming for the job that I currently work at. On the kids angle, we discussed this the last time, or like a time before that. If we decide to have kids, we are going to have to move to another spot, which I'm not too crazy about because I like the house that we live in now, but going on more vacations and adventuring in more places, I think. Crossing more places off the travel bucket list.
Yeah.
So that's a terrible answer, but...
Sorry. That would be kind of my answer, I guess, too.
I mean, I don't know if I'd still be doing YouTube in 10 years from now. Maybe I'd grow out of it, because a lot of times with hobbies, I'll grow into it and grow out of it. So we'll have to see for that one. All right, I plow fat apes. Yes, a rather interesting question. Would you rather know how you die or when you die?
I want to hear your answer first.
All right, my answer is I'd rather want to know how I die.
Really?
Yes, this way I could avoid doing things that would make me die until I'm ready to do it. Except, of course, if the answer is you're going to die in a car accident, then I'm completely fucked. I'm like, oh my god, what the hell?
But what if that's it?
If that's what it is, then I'm screwed. I'm taking the bike to work every day.
Well,
that would be kind of strange, right? Because then I wouldn't get to take advantage of knowing how I would die to plan out my future.
yeah.
So, but knowing when I die is not as important to me, I guess, because if it's like in 4 years from now, then of course you're going to want to cram everything in. But if somebody says you're going to live to your 75, then whatever. I'm not. That's just as useful as information as you're going to die in a car accident. You know what I mean? So what about you?
I'd rather know when I would die.
Why is that?
Because if it's soon, then you're right, you can cram everything in. But if it's not soon, then yeah, then I know I got some time. Versus if it was when if it was how I was gonna die, I would avoid doing something that I potentially enjoyed.
Transformers 2609. If you got superpowers, would you want to be a superhero or supervillain?
Superhero.
I think that's pretty easy.
I'm a good person.
Yeah, I'm a pretty good person at heart, although being a supervillain would be awesome, because then this way I could just kill any motherfuckers that I don't like, you know?
Yeah, but how many people, honestly, don't you like?
There's some people that I think deserve to die.
Yeah. People that you personally know?
No, not
Okay.
people I personally know.
Yeah, but then, like, you don't really know if they deserve to die or not, because you only see whatever facade they put out to the world.
There are some senators that should die. There are some people running some governments around the world and some organizations that should probably die.
True.
Because if you're a superhero, right, you do fight bad guys, but you don't necessarily go out and target them and kill them. But if you're a super villain, you want to take over the entire world, which means you have to crush all the bad guys.
Yeah, but you would be the
and
bad
good
guy
guys.
that the superhero would go after. And then you would die.
Well, evil sometimes wins over good, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
That's not how all the comic books write it.
No. Hope we don't get these powers at the same time, 'cause then I'd have to kill you.
Right. It would be Super MsShwantz versus Evil Schwantz in the ultimate Schwantz off.
Yeah.
BB Mini Beck, do you guys ever fight? Example. And how do you avoid fighting? So, fighting inevitably happens in any relationships, because not everybody is exactly the same. And if it was, then the world would be pretty boring. Example of a fight that happened recently this past weekend was we were having some company over, so we were trying to clean the house in order to prepare for the company coming over.
You're really gonna tell this story?
Yeah, we're gonna tell this story. So this is a fight that we had where, you know, when I clean the house, sometimes I, miss a few spots or don't do a great job of it. So MsShwantz, being, the cleaning Nazi that she is, just basically was like, what the fuck is this shit? Is this clean? Does this look clean to you? It doesn't look clean to me. So
that's not what happened.
No, I know that's not what happened. We had a heartfelt discussion about it, and communication is the easiest way to avoid fights and to also squash fights before they end up escalating. Because sometimes there is like the straw that broke the camel's back thing, where if you hold something in for a long, long time and you snap on one little thing, and your partner's like, what the fuck? This isn't that big of a deal, but really it's more than just that, right?
Yeah. I would say we've gotten a lot better about fighting. We don't really fight that often.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have major blowouts. We don't fight about money, which is really good, because that's one of the main things that, drive couples apart is money. And we don't really fight about values all that often, because we both share the same values.
Not in a serious way. There's a couple things you said that have surprised me, but they're in no way affecting our relationship. They're just like weird, one-off, strange questions.
Right, like we're not fighting about, you know, whether or not to have children. We're not fighting about, you know, other things like that, you know.
Yeah. We used to fight a lot more when we lived in the city.
Well, that was a different environment.
Yeah.
I feel like we were just thrown into, you know, a fishbowl, if you will.
Yeah.
And that'll happen
space
sometimes.
Works for us.
Yeah. Well, not too much space, but just enough space.
Yeah, just enough space.
So, that's how you avoid fighting. It's impossible to avoid fighting, but to avoid big blow-ups is to, you know, tell people what's on their mind. And I think another key thing is putting the shoe on the other foot. If you can kind of see where the other person's coming from a little bit, maybe you won't be so inclined to do something that may rile them up a bit, right? Like, have you ever avoided a fight with me because you did put the shoe on the other foot, perhaps?
I have a really bad temper, so probably not. But I can't think of anything. I feel like I save our fighting for the things that really matter. Like, I don't get mad at you over stupid shit. I only get mad at you over the shit that, like, that matters to me.
Yeah.
Kind of, sometimes.
Letting stuff roll off your back sometimes, if it's really not that important, I guess is a good thing to avoid fighting, too. All right, Ryan Wheeler asks, what are your favorite foods and places to eat together? So I think our favorite place to eat together is a local brewery that serves really good food and has really good beer. And we are on a first name basis with several of the people.
Several of the employees at that establishment, yes.
So, the fried pickles there are really good. Is there anything else on the menu that
those
really
fries
stand out?
are so good.
So I like the fish and chips there is really good, and they also have a nice assortment of sausages. Yes. They have kielbasa and pierogies, which is really good. So
their pizzas are really good.
It is a brewery, but their food is a brewery, but their food is it's a restaurant really first, but they also have really good beer. And I think those are probably our favorite places to eat, are places that are kind of one-offs, like that have really good food that, you know, has good ingredients and perhaps brews their own beer or has a good beer selection. I think that's kind of our niche. I would say the
exception to that is the Asian place that we go to, the Japanese place.
Right. So there's another place. There's a Japanese place. It's pretty quaint, pretty quiet, but the food is really good. We order the same shit every time.
Literally the same thing every time
Like,
we
we
go
sit
there.
down and the waitress, the server doesn't,
knows.
The server doesn't even have to ask us anymore.
Yeah, so that's scary.
Something that's in and out and convenient, too, is good. You know, good value. What are our favorite foods? My favorite food is a gyro. But I also like sushi. I like basically almost everything except for olives and spicy food. Those are the two really things that I don't like at all.
For me, it depends on my mood, but like I really like hibachi. That's really good. And I really like pizza. I really like cheeseburgers.
Okay.
I'm like a 5-year-old.
MsShwantz is a very picky eater, and sometimes it's difficult to go out with her for food because since I'm very not picky at all, I'm willing to eat anything. So it's usually up to her to make a decision, but sometimes she's very nonchalant in what she wants. So sometimes it gets difficult, but, you know, usually if there's staples, you know, that's what she likes to eat, and it's on the menu most of the time at most places.
Yeah, I can find something almost anywhere.
So GovHQ, piggybacking on food, what do you typically get at McDonald's?
I don't eat McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't eat McDonald's anymore either. It's
Sorry.
fucking nasty. McDonald's is the worst of the fast food places.
See, I really liked their burgers, and then I got appendicitis after eating them, and I know that didn't cause my appendicitis, but that kind of like put me off.
There you heard it, folks. McDoubles will give you appendicitis.
So it's just like, I don't know. After that, it just didn't have the same luster. And also, like, we got older and we were able to afford not eating McDonald's.
Right.
For every meal.
If I was to give something, I really like the McChickens there, but everything else is absolute shit. The Big Macs are okay, but I don't like their burger patties. I'd rather go to Burger King and have a Big King, because the burgers at Burger King taste good, and the Big King is basically the Big Mac, but with Burger King burgers, and it's 1,000 times better. But yeah, and we're also on a new diet where we're not eating shit like that. So
nope. But I would get like a kid's cheeseburger meal when I used to go.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it. Kids cheeseburger meal and a chocolate shake. Ooh, and their biscuits are really good in the morning.
Like in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no eggs or anything on them, just the biscuit.
Egg McMuffins are pretty good.
Just the biscuit.
Now, I think they have egg white McMuffins now,
yeah,
too.
but it's not really egg whites, though. It's like egg processed patty, microwavable. Oh, God, ew. No, just get the biscuit. No egg, just the biscuit.
All right, Gladsky Games. Jabba the Hutt, Lizzie McGuire, Snoop. You got to kill one, marry one, and go scuba diving with one.
Oh, this is so easy.
Okay.
Jabba the Hutt, kill, Lizzie McGuire, marry, Snoop, go scuba diving. Right?
I don't know if you could go... I would picture Snoop going down in a scuba diving tank, but instead of there being oxygen, there being cannabis as
I don't
the
fucking
thing
give
to
a
inhale.
Shit. I will have oxygen. He can have weed. Whatever.
You wouldn't want to marry Snoop Dogg?
No.
I think I would rather go scuba diving with Lizzie McGuire, because I think if I married her, I'd be considered a pedophile.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Isn't she married to Mike Comrie? Or she was married to Mike Comrie.
Hilary Duff is married to a hockey player.
Yeah.
Or was married
Is it Mike
to a hockey
Comrie?
player. I think it was, yes. So
aren't you impressed I knew that? He
yes.
wasn't even on our team.
He was on the Islanders, which is probably why.
Yeah, I know. Oh, and then that bit, yeah, and she fucking showed up to that Islander game. That's why I know.
Yeah, so you can't go scuba diving with Jabba the Hutt. He'd take up the whole fucking boat.
Okay, stop. You don't like Star Wars. You don't like Star Wars, so you don't know
I
the
never
automatic.
said I don't like Star Wars.
No, you don't like Star Wars. So Brian, let's watch Star Wars this weekend. Star Wars marathon, all 6 movies back to back. In preparation. Yeah, see? And you made fun of me for wanting to go see the Star Wars trailer in the movie theater. And you make fun of me.
Who goes to a movie theater and buys a ticket to...
Hold on
a minute. Who goes to the movie theater and buys a ticket for a movie just to watch a fucking preview, which is also available on YouTube already?
A lot of fucking people. That's why Meet Joe Black was like the #1 movie for whatever week it came out, because it had the Star Wars trailer attached to it.
That's sad.
And yeah, because so many people... Also, the day Star Wars came out, it was like the economy lost millions of dollars because so many people called out sick. So don't even fucking give me that shit. And if you knew anything, the only acceptable answer for Jabba the Hutt is to kill him. I didn't say
Jabba the Hutt's not a bad guy. He just wants his money, man.
He is a bad guy. He is a bad guy. You obviously did not read Tales from Jabba's Palace like I did.
Holy shit, we're going into the fan fiction now.
We are.
For fuck's sake. Let's move on before this gets even uglier. Flaw Engines Live. What is your opinion on the escape of El Chapo?
That's not news anymore, so I have no opinion.
Well, I think the more interesting escape is the one from upstate New York, not the Mexican guy out of the Mexican
Oh yeah,
government.
he just like fucking paid people off and
it was kind of cool because there was a motorcycle in the tunnel underneath the shower.
Yeah, that's what they say it was. Last time he escaped, he just walked out the door.
Well, in any event, I think the escape of the 2 guys in New York is much more interesting because they schmoozed over a security guard in order to get out.
Not a security guard.
A CO, whatever.
No, she was like a teacher or something. I don't know. Yeah,
I
agree.
She was
that was more interesting.
I thought she was a CO for
she like taught like sewing classes there.
To guys.
Yeah, it was part of their job training. I listen to local radio every morning, so I am very well versed on this.
Fair enough.
But like fucking the thing that pissed me off, not pissed me off, but I was like, you are so fucking stupid for reporting this, is that they broke into all these cabins in upstate New York that all these people leave their guns there. So they basically just told criminals, hey, if you want guns, just go to upstate New York and break into the cabins because these idiots leave their guns unlocked just in their fucking cabins. Which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I guess you have to be more responsible with that. You gotta lock it up.
Yeah. So, surprise, they got a gun. Because if you don't fucking lock your guns up, people can steal them.
There you go. All right, Keeganator 2000. What is your favorite band from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the 00? So let's go in order here.
Wait, so I have a question. So does this mean that the band has to have started in those years, or just
Here's what I'm
active
gonna
in
do.
those years?
Here's what I'm gonna do. Like, for example, the 80s, I'm picking Metallica because their 4 albums that they did in the 80s, Kill 'Em All,
Okay,
Ride
so
the
if they were
Lightning,
like in the
Master of
prime.
Puppets, and Justice for All, those 4 albums to me are probably the best 4 albums from any band ever. But for the 90s, I was going to pick Megadeth because I like their 90s stuff.
Okay.
However, they started in the 80s. So
Okay.
I think that's how we'll do it.
Well,
so
here-
let's start. I already blew my one answer, but
You
I'll say
blew
it
both
again.
your answers.
So, well, no, I have more. I have
Oh, you
honorable
blew 2 of the
mentions.
4. Okay, whatever. So, but here's the thing. Like, I don't know, like, dates or anything. So just, like, don't be super specific with me.
Okay.
Okay.
I will be super specific because
Okay.
I'm a music snob
Okay.
a little bit.
Okay. So for 70s, they picked the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, that one was...
Big
Could
surprise.
see that one a mile away.
away.
I'm going to go with AC/DC for the 70s. I liked Bon Scott with AC/DC better than Brian Johnson with AC/DC, and Brian Johnson with AC/DC is 80s and on. So before that is all Bon Scott with AC/DC. Led Zeppelin, I guess you got to throw in there for 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I would also say Boston, too. I love Boston. Boston
Really?
is great.
Oh, God. Ew.
No? You're not a big Boston
Ooh,
fan?
No.
Okay. Any other bands from the 70s that you would throw in there?
No.
All right. 80s, I already said Metallica.
I want to see if you can guess mine.
Yours, The Cure?
I really love The Cure, but no.
I don't know.
Tom Petty.
Tom Petty.
He produced some solid stuff in the 80s.
Yeah, Tom Petty. Tom Petty is definitely a good one. For more off the wall, I would say Dokken is like my favorite hair metal band. So I'll go with them.
Okay.
All right. 90s.
90s, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Yes.
Ba-da-da-da-da.
Okay, you are tone deaf.
Sorry. So 90s, I'd have to say Megadeth, even though I know they started in the 80s. All my favorite Megadeth albums are in the 90s.
Sublime.
Sublime
Is
is
also
also
a really
good
good
one.
90s. I like a lot of 90s music. I'm definitely a 90s child.
See, I listen to mostly hip hop and rap in the 90s.
Beastie Boys. Beastie Boys is good for the 80s though too. Ooh.
Yeah,
It's
most
really
of
good.
their good stuff is in the 80s.
Well,
License to Ill,
I like a
Paul's Boutique,
lot
those
of
are-
Beastie Boys though.
License to Ill is a great album. Rage Against the Machine, I'd also say, for the 90s for me. And Pantera from the 90s. Definitely those 3. And then 2000s. Even though this band started, I think, in 98 or 97, Disturbed would fit in the 2000s.
Mine's gonna be so dorky.
What's yours going to be?
I guess Newfound Glory. I'm trying to think of like what I listened to then because I
Red
was
Hot
like
Chili Peppers?
big in, yeah, I was like really big into like emo, like not really because it wasn't emo then. It was just like pop punk.
Speaking of, well, they're not emo, but though their first album was pretty emo. Story of the Year, after their first album.
All emo.
No.
I really
not
like
after
90s
Their first album was
and-
pretty emo.
and
After that, it's more
Early
like hardcore.
2000s music. That's like my music era.
Yeah, I'm much more into metal, even though, like, different kinds. Like, I really also like Ice Earth, but I can't fit them into any one category because I just started getting into them recently. But I know they have CDs from the 80s and 90s. Actually, maybe not the 80s, but they're another band that I really, really like.
But
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
All right.
I like this next question. It's gonna be really easy for me to answer.
Fruiak Wilkford, opinions on the current state of music, just referring to most of the popular music.
Crap. It's crap.
Well,
Fucking listen to it at work all the time.
Oh,
It
you
fucking
do?
sucks.
Okay.
Yeah, because they put it on to make like the other because like I don't do what most of the other people do at my job. So having like upbeat music and fucking dance club music like makes them do their job faster, and it fucking sucks.
I don't listen to much modern
You'll
music,
think it's
honestly.
fucking sucks. You will. You'll think it fucking sucks.
I
It's so
know.
stupid. We've been to enough weddings. Think about the wedding music like we've listened to with like the more popular stuff you don't recognize. Sucks. It sucks. It's crap.
See, here's the thing. Like, I have a bigger, wider, I guess, musical taste than MsShwantz does, even though I think she likes more types of rock music than I do, certainly. Like, she doesn't like hip-hop at all. She doesn't like dance music at all.
Oh, God,
but
no.
I do like stuff like that. So, like, pop music to me has always never really resonated. I've always been more into lots of other different stuff. Like, I'll give modern hip-hop, for example, is fucking garbage. Like, that auto-tuned talking over a beat stuff that I hear is just fucking terrible.
That's all that shit is. Like that's all it. We listen to everything that is
like
fucking
Imagine
like
Dragons,
modern music.
I can't deal with that stuff. I just
like,
can't do
it's
it.
like it's I don't know. I can't get into it.
Some
Give
of it's
me
okay.
Good
like
guitar.
Kendrick Lamar is a great rap artist. Foo Fighters are still making great music.
Yeah, but I wouldn't necessarily count them as like super popular. Like they're not like coming out now. So like if you think of people coming out now that aren't established yet,
I don't even like
crap.
Mumford and Sons. It's just another band that you like. I can't stand them either.
But I don't like listen to them. I don't have their CD or didn't buy any of their shit on
Decemberists,
iTunes.
I don't like either.
Oh god, I love the Decemberists.
But they're a relatively new band.
No,
aren't they?
they're not. They've been around for years. They're really, really old. I've been listening to Decemberists for at least 10 years.
Yeah, most new music I'm not.
So I wouldn't consider that new. And like other shit, like Kings of Leon, you would consider new, but that's not really new because it's old, and I like their old stuff, and I don't like their new stuff. So, you know.
Yeah, but they didn't get popular until now.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like the CD I have on my iPod is not their new CD, it's their old CD, and I love it.
Alright, so that's been another episode of Getting to Know the Schwantzes. As always, if you guys have a question for us, leave it down in the comment section. And we appreciate you guys submitting the questions to keep this series going. So if you have a question, or if you want us to tell you a story of a time in our lives, perhaps, then
that you
just let
haven't
us know.
already heard, because I feel like we've talked about a lot of them.
Hey, we are 30 plus years old, so we've got a lot of life experience and stories to tell. So
you're only the plus.
That's true. Thanks for rubbing that in. Anyways, we'll see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed, and be sure to check out the SoundCloud in the description as well. This way you can just download the episode and listen as you go, kind of like a podcast.
Oh, that's cool.
Thanks for lending us your ear for some time.
Yep. Bye.